Thank you, Chair. Greetings to all members and staff. Chair, my proposal is that, as we are proposing that the evening portfolio committee, let's stop it due to the issue that we don't have anything. And as you've said, Chair, that there are other things that I've seen a letter that you said they must write to the Speaker of the National Assembly. So I think maybe if this matter can be directed there so that we can discuss it procedurally. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable members, can I take this, we take off this item number 6, and can I, with respectively of the intelligence of our members, repeating my responses, saying that it can be now an issue of the committee, writing to the committee, whilst the meeting was not of the committee. To those two members, they were asked by themselves, and we don't know why now they have taken the meeting or the conversation of two members with them, and then wanted to make it a committee issue. So really, honorable members, there's no point. Let's take decision that the administrators, they must write to the acting LAC chairperson that we are cancelling that meeting. Maybe, if you don't mind, reminding them that the chairperson did ask them if they do have a complaint, not to the committee. There is the office of the Speaker, and really they must go and expose if they are exposing themselves there, because it was not the meeting of the committee. I've closed the committee, and then they were having a session with other members, which are members of the committee. So let's not take now any more time, honorable members, as other members like Honorable Mhlongo and Honorable Madlungos, I'm suspecting they felt offended about this letter, and as Honorable Mhlongo that he has already taken with the chief whip of his party. Maybe Honorable Madlungos, you can try to check what do you want to do about this thing. Honorable members, I do close this matter now.
So there's a hand. I've raised the hand.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Honorable.
So I think our wise counsel next time, I think you must adhere to, when we discuss this issue, I've stated clearly this is a private matter. And I was emotional to say, why can we discuss private matters? And I've made an example that your meeting with Honorable Sliabe and artists, we did not discuss it. Now I'm saying these are the issues that when we cancel advice, chairperson, this issue is not supposed to be. I think you must hear our advice, because my name is put in the mud, and this allegation that came to this committee, which are unfounded, and I did not even want to respond via an email with the detail to say, I must say my case, because it's wrong for us to discuss individual or private issues in this committee. There's a process in Parliament that you must follow as a member, or even our stakeholders must do so. And I think our dignity has been undermined, and there's no fairness why these issues, 3 consecutive meetings has been tabled without proper process in this committee. Thank you, Chair. I wanted that to be noted.
Honorable members, I wanted
Chair,
that.
Chair.
No, we are not yet finished.
Wait, no, Chair. Before Sidulela, because lo acting chairperson uzoyijoyela lento yokuthi avele athatha amametha angaqonde ne-portfolio committee azowafaka la, and lamagama alabahlonishwa abawu-2 uyawalulaza noma uyaba-undermine. Ngeke uthathe into ebikade yenzeka outside uthathe uzoyifaka lana. Le nto yakhe befuneka acting chair athole isijeziso ngoba kusho ukuthi leli komiti ulithatha kancane. Ngiyabonga chair.
Thank you. Or before I
Chairperson.
wanted to respond to Honorable Mhlongo, but I'm seeing Honorable Siabi, Honorable Dennis. I'll come at the end. Or Honorable Maloman, and I'll come at the end. Honorable Siabi.
Thank you, Chair. I think we must understand this issue in context. The acting chairperson of NAC wrote to the chairperson of the committee. The chairperson of the committee alerted the committee, and the committee agreed that the matter needs to be discussed in the next meeting. And in this meeting, the next meeting, which was last week, the committee agreed that the matter will be tabled and the chairperson of NAC must be invited. Now, NAC has not submitted information as required to enable the committee to proceed with the matter. And the decision is that the meeting be cancelled because the NAC has not submitted sufficient information to enable the committee to interact with the matter. And in cancelling that meeting, advise the NAC to redirect the matter to the speaker so that their matter can receive the necessary attention. So it's not the chairperson of NAC who forced the matter on us. It is us, chairperson, who said the matter will be discussed. And it is us today who are saying the matter should not be discussed. And I thought if we leave it at that, so that we should not accuse people who are not supposed to be accused. Thanks, Chair.
Honorable Dennis.
Thank you once again for another opportunity, Chairperson. There was a proposal to adopt the minutes with this. There was a proposal to adopt the agenda with this item on, Chairperson. So in other words, this committee cannot make a decision on what must happen if the item is not on the agenda. So Honorable Maslongo, who proposed that the agenda be adopted, is actually correct. If we want to support the previous speaker, who then said, we received a letter, and the matter is as a committee is that this be seen as a private matter and be referred to another channel in Parliament, should that NAC want to deal with it further. But technically speaking, procedurally speaking, the matter must be on this agenda if the committee decides to write to the acting chairperson about our position. And then that is where I want to leave it. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Dennis. Honorable Maloman.
Thank you, Chair. My proposal is that, as it seems as if many of our members are saying, we must cancel the evening portfolio committee on discussion of this matter. And I just want to also say to Honorable Mhlongo, it can be correct that if the chairperson receives something, because the chairperson is representing us as a portfolio committee, he must come and present the things, the letters that she did receive. This was part of the letter that she did receive, and she responded that this matter must be taken procedurally. The NAC chair must write to the speaker. I think this is the correct one. Let us not continue to discuss this matter as each and every person is saying is unprocedurally, is procedurally. So we're changing things. Let us not discuss this thing. But what we need to do, let's discuss a matter to say, are we adopting this this agenda with the item as it is, to say that if we, as we're discussing, because we're discussing this item actually, so that before we adopt it, we just leave it like this, or we take it out, so that we can write to say, no. The portfolio committee has time, and then we went to item number 6 to say the schedule portfolio committee that will be taking place from 6 o'clock be cancelled. Due to that, a procedure must be taken by the National Arts Council chairperson to write or refer her matter to the speaker. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable members, can I express myself? I wanted to report to honorable members that it was not the first time that I put the matter of the letters from NAC. Before we went to the oversight, I did come to this committee, and I've reported to this committee that I'm having a letter that he wants me to talk to the artists. And I've said to themselves, I'm repeating even in this committee, we have taken the decision that we are coming to do the oversight. Because when they wrote this email, they even said to Ujabu, they were part of our meeting, since our meetings are virtual and the other channel where anyone wanted to listen, they've heard us. And I've argued to Utami saying that, but if you have heard that we are coming to hear from you, why are you still insisting that I must meet you? They're saying no. And I reported in this committee that I've told them that I know that two honorable members, they always talk to me, not even here or other, saying that they do listen. These people do want their assistant, not as a collective of the committee. I've said I cannot come alone there. I'll come with Honorable Siabe to you. And then I've said, each department, they must give me 2 people in this small meeting, which you want me to be. And then, honorable members, the office arranged this. But when now, I was still even sick then, but I've said, hey, maybe they will be thinking that I'm running away. When we're supposed to start, waited, and they did get in by our pulse code, and they were all there. And I've said, why now? Why are you doing this? This is an ambush. I'm not a committee. I'm the chairperson of a committee. Members are not here. You come with your all encourage in a meeting that you have asked me to talk to you, and I've said to you, I need 3 to 4 people to be with me. I've said, no, try not to, we'll try to get another passcode in order that I must have these 3 people that I've said you must come with. But unfortunately, when executive secretary wanted another slot, we didn't get another slot. So I'm saying this is not the first time. Immediately that they wrote to me again, and I was compelled to come, saying that, hey, these people again, they did write me such a letter, and I've said, no, this letter is not belonging to chairperson, because I did close the meeting and you had that meeting. So I wanted that, please, honorable members, let's leave at that point, because even in the last meeting, sometimes when you're chairing, honorable members, they were supposed in the matters arising. I've asked 3 times that, do you have anything in the matters arising? No one did raise a matter arising. But at the end, it's when honorable members raise this issue, and it nearly make misunderstanding in the committee. It is today. So I want to take what honorable members are saying, that it must be corrected in the agenda, that National Arts Council allocation remain like this. And then, as we're saying that, we would love that we must tell them that this is not an issue of a committee. Advice that I did give them, I'm suspecting still stand. I'm still seeing the hands, honorable members, honorable Mhlongo, honorable Maringosi, honorable Knox.
Chairperson, thank you very much. Chair,
Yes.
I started saying, as the chair, you have a right to accept any item on the agenda. And when we started this item, I caution you that this item is private. And you giving us your example, there are 2 sides of the story in each and every issue. There are 2 sides, not one side. Your example of artist. But nonetheless, it's not that I didn't ask you to put it on the agenda. I've asked you to put item on the agenda. To date, you did not put it. The issue of Honorable Van Dijk, and with one of the entities that they've put his name on the PPR. To date, you did not put it on this item agenda, or it's not even.
Me?
I'm making an example. Now you have a right as the chair to tackle items on the agenda. You are responsible as the chair to
My
put
point of order.
Point of order, Chair. Point of order, Chair.
Honorable Mhlongo, I'll never have any request to put Honorable Van Dijk's issue.
Point of order, Chair. Point of order, Chair.
Oh, yes, Honorable Mandoman.
This matter was discussed by us to say we need to discuss this matter of the allegations. It's us as a portfolio committee that we sit in the portfolio committee and agreed that we need to discuss it in our last meeting. But the advice that we were given from our administrators was that, no, can we put this matter for the meeting of the 11th, because there are few items that needs to be discussed. It's not you, Chairperson. It was asked, advised, and then we agreed to say it's correct. Today it's here, this matter. If we need to discuss it, let's adopt the agenda.
Because I was speaking, he's making a statement. What
it's not you,
was I out
Chairperson.
of order on what? Did I say this? Whatever that
No,
he's saying.
it's not you that who forced this item to be.
What is the point of order, if I may ask?
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Mhlongo, I was having a point of order before.
No, before you, Chair Nguzwil. Honorable, what was his? Are you sustaining his point of order?
I'm still on the point of order. I was worried because it was the first point of order. It was my point of order.
Now, what are you saying, the colleague who was
the point of order is sustained.
Are you sustained? Is it
Yes.
sustained? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. 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 You are leading us.
Yes. I was saying that point of order of saying to me you have said that we must put on the agenda the question of Honorable Van Dijk is not correct. It was on the agenda, and we said we'll ask we did discuss. We will ask each department. I'll even said in a meeting I will ask UDM, and UDM committed herself to do that. Until every now and then, when I'm getting email, Honorable Van Dijk, I do tell UDM that you even spoke to Honorable Van Dijk that you will intervene. But what you are saying, you are wrong. That you are wrong. I didn't do anything wrong, and we discussed in a meeting, and I've said I'll take it up, and UDM just said in a meeting, if it's what no meeting, that who will follow up. And every now and then I do speak to UDM, and UDM also wanted the number of Honorable Van Dijk. Please, honorable members, it must not be always when there's a fault, it's my fault. I've followed this thing of Honorable Van Dijk as we're not happy, all of us.
Chairperson, I was making an example. I'm saying to you, you have the right to action any item as the chair. I was making an example. This is an example that I'm saying to you. While I was speaking,
Order, Chair. Order, Chair.
Yes, Honorable Siam.
I think there are Chairperson, there are people who raise their hands. Let us not have a dialogue. Can all speakers wait to be recognized? And once you recognize the speaker, we speak, so that we don't have a dialogue.
My apology. I was raising point of order whilst the hands they were here, because I was feeling that what Honorable Mhlongo is saying is not correct. So I do see the hands, but to me, it was my point of order. It was not a dialogue. A raising point of order of the wrong information about myself. Please lend Honorable Mhlongo. There are people on the screen.
Yeah, I'm still speaking, or you don't want me to speak? Remember, you recognized me. You as an order, and you sustained that.
I've said finalize. There are people on the screen.
Yeah, I must finalize, Chair. I'm saying to you, Chair, as the chairperson of this committee, you have a right to put any issue on the item on the agenda, as you did today. But we've corrected that item because you've said matters of NAC instead of allegation, because it was on the agenda. Now I've moved for the adoption of the agenda, and because my name and Honorable Madlingo's name has been in tatters. In fact, it's so dying because the committee thinks we've done this, it must be discussed, and procedurally it's totally wrong. It's unfounded, it's private. Now I'm saying let's move for adoption, and then let's start the meeting. I've asked for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mhlongo. Honorable Madlingo's.
Thank you, Chair. It looks like we need to discuss this as the item number 6. So we need to adopt the meeting, the agenda as it is, and then we come to this thing and then we finalize it, Chair, as we are as the committee, so that we take a decision about it, and then we can do the procedure about it anyhow. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Madlingo's. Honorable Knox. Honorable Siabe.
Thank you, Chair. I would second the adoption, but I would say we've already discussed item 6 and suggest that because we discussed it,
Point of order, Chair.
it will be item.
Point of order, Chair.
Order. A moment, Honorable Siabe. Yes, Honorable Mhlongo.
Chair, we cannot adopt the agenda after saying we've discussed. It's orderly. You adopt the agenda, you proceed with the agenda, and you talk with items. You cannot talk with items before and then adopt the agenda after. Procedurally speaking, you adopt the agenda and you speak for the items.
Honorable Siabe.
Yeah, the problem is that people don't want to listen when others speak. If people can learn to listen and then call for order when they have listened. I was saying, Chair, I also support the move for the adoption of the agenda, but because we were discussing item 6, wanted to check whether we'll say we have discussed or we're still going to discuss, because I thought it will come as item number 3, and then the others follows, then we adopt the agenda as it is.
Point taken, Honorable Zondi.
Yeah, yes, Chair. Good morning to honorable members. Chair, I agree with honorable members. We have taken almost 50 minutes discussing the matter outside the agenda, Chair. But we can't rule or we can't take a decision on the matter outside the agenda. We need to adopt the agenda first. Then whatever discussion that we have had, as we have agreed that the meeting of this afternoon meeting is cancelled. But on the matter that was supposed to be discussed on the afternoon, we need the matter to be resolved and be minuted, as honorable members and yourself has said. But we should do that within the items of the agenda for today. That is why I'm saying, Chair, we can't discuss the matter and conclude outside the adopted agenda. We should adopt the agenda with the matter inside. As Honorable Siabi said, because we have started to discuss the matter, it should be put on top of the department agenda, so that we finish it first and minute it, then deal with the remainder of the business of the day. Thanks, Chair.
Honorable members, I'm taking that Honorable Mhlongo proposed the adoption of the agenda. Honorable Siabi seconded by saying that let's take this item of allocations to be number 3, and then Honorable Zondi is headed the adoption of the agenda. I'm still seeing the other hands. Honorable Maloman.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I do agree that we put the item under number 3, but can it reflect as it is in a Z list? Not to say National Arts Council allegations against Mr. Mhlongo and Mr. Mhlongo, as it is in the Z list. That's what I prefer. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, honorable members. Honorable Mhlongo, Honorable Madlingozi.
Clarity seeking question, Chair. I apologize. I don't have the Z list. What was the item on the Z list stating, and what does it say? Because I don't have the Z list. We're talking about the item in the committee now, which has been amended, unless it was saying matters, National Arts Council matters, because we only changed the word. Because can I get the clarity on the Chair before?
You'll get that, Honorable Madlingos.
Thank you, Chair. I agree with Honorable Siabe that since we have discussed this matter, let us put it on item number 3. Nevertheless, I don't agree with because I don't know the Z list, so I would rather have this matter to be put as we have corrected it just now on the agenda, because if it is National Arts Council matters, it is misrepresenting the real situation of it all. Thank you, Chair.
Can honorable member look at the number 3 on the agenda and say something? You say that? Can I take it that now the agenda has been adopted?
Yes, Chair.
Okay, honorable members, thank you to do this like leaders and adults. I'm suspecting to everyone when there's something like this, people, those who are affected, and as a committee at large, we need to do and conduct us like today. I don't know, as time goes on, we do treat each other as a leader and respected each other. Let's keep it up doing that, even if we have a different view from a member. You know, the way that we handle each other, it does assist that you must see that there's nothing personal, but this member, he wanted to assist the committee, to correct, to do things accordingly. It's going to assist. It's a long way. We still have some few years. So I'm saying I do appreciate, since we've started after the oversight, the way we handle each other. It's like leaders of the nation. I'm still seeing the hand of Honorable Mhlongo.
I've lowered my hand, apology. I've lowered my hand.
Okay. Honorable members, I'm taking, it's not yet lowered, I'm taking this opportunity really to thank you, Honorable Member. You know, sometimes we must come to where we're saying we have graduated. We are coming from different homes, different places. We don't group together, but the South African people elected us and our parties put us to serve in this committee. And every now and then, we cannot not to have differences. We do have differences even out of our homes, out of our families. But the way differences we are handling, we must handle differences with dignity, with respect each other. I'm saying that I'm seeing a change of doing things. I do appreciate those honorable members, and errors in the way we are going to do, all of us, irrespective of chairperson, irrespective of individual members, but we here to assist, to correct each other. By that, honorable members, I'm suspecting we're still going to maintain protocols of the COVID-19. Now we have seen, we have B117 or 7, whatever, B1, 3511, whatever. Let's try that if this third way is coming with other variants, let's do what we can. Once we're not yet getting a vaccine, the best things that we must do is to wash our hands, put our mask, keep the distance. By those words, honorable members, the meeting is opened, and let me go to apologies. Apologies.
Good morning, members. Good morning, Chair. We have a standing apology from Mom Adams. There are no other apologies, Chair.
Okay. Honorable members, thank you. As according to now the agenda, are also putting the agenda number 3 on the issue just we've discussed. I'm suspecting what we want honorable members to put it to perspective. What are we saying about this allegation in order that we must have one understanding and close the thing. I've seen let me go to the participants. I've seen the hand of Honorable Mhlongo,
Dennis Joseph, Chairperson.
Honorable Dennis, Honorable Mahlingozi.
Thanks, Chairperson. With respect, Chair, I'd like to echo my views that it must be minuted that the accusation are unfounded and have composed a substantive motion against myself and Mr. Madlingozi. And this committee does not have a right to handle these issues, not even before I came to Parliament, even when I'm in Parliament. And I believe that I'm going to be assisted by the chair, by the our chief whip, to write the letter to the chair of chair against myself. And this is a bizarre behavior and a move by this committee to discuss issues pertaining private issues. Can this be noted? Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Dennis.
Thank you for the opportunity once again, Chairperson. I just would like to make a few comments, but I'm going to specifically speak to the letter, official letter that we received via the committee received via yourself, Chairperson. First of all, the letter by the acting Chairperson of the National Arts Council has got a heading, and the heading says leak of audio recording of confidential meeting with PPC. Now, there was never a confidential meeting with the PPC, because the lady in the letter stated, after it says, following the closing remarks, as you also said. So the meeting was already closed. There was no, so what happened? It was happened outside of the official meeting of the portfolio committee. And in the letter, the lady confirmed it was a private meeting. If you read it in the letter, you will say, so it was a private meeting to offer assistance for mediation. That is her own words. I'm quoting out of the letter, Chairperson. And then the two members did not misrepresent the portfolio committee because it was a private meeting. And then all meetings, in any case, are open to the public, all engagements, unless prior arrangements, unless this committee or any other committee decides it's a meeting in camera or it's private. Therefore, all meetings are open, and therefore the Facebook comments is irrelevant. The question we should ask, why was there a sit-in in the first place? And then in the letter, it speaks about death threats. And I think that we must advise them that must be reported to the police and not to the Parliament Committee. And then, of course, in the letter, it speaks about the minister. And I think the minister has the right and the duty to protect himself or the deputy minister and their staff, because we can't be held accountable for the minister's safety, as quoted in the letter. And then my last 2 points, Chairperson, the National Arts Council acting chair must not shift their internal responsibilities and issues to this Parliament Committee. I see no abuse of power by the two members because they weren't acting on behalf of the committee. They were acting as individuals to offer assistance, and the acting chair, in my view, as I said earlier on, is abusing the Parliament Committee for her own agenda. And we should write back to the acting National Arts Council, because I'm not sure if the Arts Council adopted even this position that she's holding, or whether it's individual position that she's holding. We should just note the contents of the letter and inform the acting National Arts Council chairperson that this matter is a private matter, it's an internal matter, and maybe if there's options that she can take that she want to pursue it further, but it's not a matter of this committee, and then we should close this committee, should close the case on this matter, Chairperson. I really appreciate the opportunity to once again make my contribution. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Dennis. Thank you so much. Honorable Emma Lingos.
Thank you, Chair. Once again, I'd love to commend the committee for taking this time into discussing this matter that what not necessarily supposed to have come here in the first place. Because I'm glad that Chairperson is talking about a meeting that they asked the Chairperson to come and listen to their artists, and then when the Chairperson realized that there were other people that were logged into the private meeting, then the Chairperson said, no, I cannot be part of this whole thing. I wanted you guys to know what you have to say, but now you're bringing the whole, country. So now that is what happened with me, that when I was invited, and then when I asked, the people that you said you were going to invite in, then when they said no, then I said, I cannot be part of this whole thing, because you never said that you wanted me alone. You said you wanted me to mediate with the artists that you claim you know. So I'm not part of this whole thing. So my main thing is that I don't agree with the acting chairperson of the National Arts Council that I was in any meeting with her. And I was never in any meeting, and she went on and rubbish our names, as this what are these dishonored members, and then also drag the portfolio committee as the meeting, our meeting was leaked. I don't know, which meeting was it. There was no portfolio committee meeting there. I was called to come and help. And when I got there, I realized that no, the people that they said that they were going to be having were not there. Then I refused. I said no. So I don't think there was a meeting there. So the acting chairperson is not. She is not very truthful about how she made this whole thing. As I have alluded in my reply, I still maintain what I wrote there, and I'm glad that the committee will write back and explain to her where and how to deal with this matter. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Mandlungose. Thank you so much. Honorable Siave.
Thanks very much, Chair. First, I want to say that the chairperson of the committee is always acting in her official capacity. And anybody who wants to communicate with the committee would communicate with the committee through the chairperson or the secretariat of the committee. For me, it was not wrong for the chairperson, after receiving a letter, to present the matter to the committee. And it is in the wisdom of the committee to say, no, Chair, that matter is not for us, like the committee is saying today. But once the chairperson receives communique and do not expose it to the committee, we are the same people who will in future accuse the chairperson of not being transparent. So I just want to thank you, Chairperson, for being transparent. You committee is saying, thou you transparent, this matter here. And in our contributions, Chairperson indicated she had already responded to the Chairperson of NC to say, please direct the matter. If you're complaining about member,
Your line is so bad. Maybe you did change is sitting. It was not like this, or else if it's a network problem, I don't know whether you have done now. Honorable Siabi. Okay, I've still seen the hand of Honorable Song. Honorable
Thanks.
Song.
Thanks, Chair. Chair, I think this is a learning curve for all of us. And I'll propose in future issues like this, when they come in different forms, the chairperson must speak to individuals affected first to hear their views and then take a decision after, not the committee. I think in leadership, as a suggestion in which we are learning, if there's an issue that I'm told that chairperson, you did this, I must come to you then to put it in the house. I must first find out, chairperson, did you do this? Mr. X, did you do this, as an example? And then later I'll take a decision to put an item on the agenda. Then an item we expose with allegation, unfounded allegation, and for us to come up with views that these unbehavioral members, I'm just saying this is a learning curve. In future, there's a process that must follow for us to avoid these issues, because if an issue comes, then it must be directed to any member firstly to say, what are you saying about this? And then that exchanging of communication, and then the chairperson will take a decision. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Mhlongo, contribution. Oh,
Chair, kade ngikhomphama mfethu.
oh, andikuboni mama wam. Yes, mama. Honorable.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chair.
Mabangakuphazamisi. Switch off.
Ngibonge Chairperson, ngibonge nakuma honorable wonke sinawo la. Ngiyavumelana nami nalento esho Honorable Mhlongo ukuthi ezinye izinto before zize kwi-portfolio committee chairperson, angisho ukuthi wrong, because vele kade sifunda ngamaphutha. Khona izinto oyibona ukuthi lezi ake ngiqale first ngiyibuyisele eceleni, ngibabizele abantu eceleni ngizwe ukuthi bazini ngazo. Ngiqede lapho. Okwesibili chairperson, ngoba leli phutha lizoqhubeka lenzeke. Nalento yokuthi lama official engisho njalo nje anayo uzoba nayo lento yokuthi agcine engasahlonipha ama member of parliament, ngoba la mina khona ngibuye ukuthi why beqhamuka sebezokhetha honorable Mhlongo no honorable Madlingozi. Ikhona into engeke ngiyibekela kusho ukuthi laba bafuna ukusetshenziswa masulandela lezi zinto ngishiye kanjalo. Nakho ke la ngifuna ukuya khona. Bengithi mina ngoba already lolu daba sebelifakile kuma chief whip ethu. Ake luthathwe luhambe lubuyiselwe back, kube yibona bazolithatha balise ku chair of the chairs, kube yena olibhekayo ukuthi alwenza kuze kukwazi ukuthi mhlambe thina sekubuya kuthina kube sekubuya i-report, ngoba kuyimanje kunento eziningi ekufanele besikhuluma ngazo ezibalekile la sizokhuluma ngoma allocation sesifana namanye njenga state capture esingayi indawo. Mina lento ingiphatha kambi, asahlukene manje wena usuzondo commission yasesi ku state capture singekho emthethweni, ngoba lento uyayibona nje ukuthi into eyayikhulunywa private Kodwa manje sizothathwa manje izofakwa la. Into eyayingakhuluma ekommitini egcina ifaka as if nawe na chair wawuyiphathi kanti wawungekho. Mina ngokwami bengithi lento nje ayithathwe ihambe iye kuma-chief whip iqhubeke nayo bayithathe bayise chair of the shares, then bazobe sebembiza lo acting chairperson bakwazi ukuthi bamqondise igwegwe makufanele aqondiswe, nalaba bethu ababalwa khona bazokwazi bayiphendulele. Ngiyabonga chairperson, akukho kunye, asiqhubekeni bakithi, asona thina state capture lana, kuyasetshenzwa lana. Ngiyabonga.
Honorable members, these hands who are still up, do you still want to talk? Honorable Madlingos?
Oh no, Chairperson, thank you. I agree more with the Honorable Momakaula that definitely this has been escalated further. And also I agree with the Honorable Mhlongo, but for sure, these things, the people are tricking us, especially those who they think not know much about what is going on with the parliamentary work and everything. So definitely, the acting chair, thought that they could use this whole thing into playing, especially for me, for a fool. All right. And how Chairperson put that point during that day, it came out as if Chairperson already believed that there are those two people whom did something wrong, and that's why I felt like I was very much I thought I've been done wrong for that, but anyway, hearing everything now, I realized the plan and the trick that was played also on Chairperson, about the acting Chairperson of National Arts Council, and I believe that we should just cut this thing off and then we carry on with our business of the day. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I don't want to complicate it again, but I did consult before I even come to the committee. And as I wrote back to themselves saying that if they do have anything, they must go to the speaker. But sometimes when you are leading people, you wanted to share that there's this thing, because in the speaker, they will be getting this letter of mine and then maybe letter of themselves. So I was thinking that I'm doing it transparent, that hey, these people, they've written this thing. Verbal, I was saying that it was just a Nicodemusly meeting. You can't write back to the chairperson, but whatever you have said, we've taken. Thank you so much, honorable members, that even if there are those honorable members felt that this thing was directed to themselves, but in a way, the way that you are handling with, I'm suspecting is correct. And I'm suspecting now that I'm having a full mandate that as we're speaking, we must write to themselves, telling them that because of the accusations of the letter which you wrote to me, again, we do feel that even the recordings that you are giving us, they are not enough. We are no longer going to handle this problem of you acting chairperson. So I'm saying roughly that's the way that in order that they must not sit there thinking that 6 o'clock was still going to meet with them. That's my closing remarks on this. Thank you, honorable members. Honorable members, let's go to the point number 4, that our technical or the researchers to put our finalized put the report to consider the adoption of our we started with minutes. I'm sorry. Consideration of minutes first before we're going to the consideration of adoption of our report. Can you put the set of the minutes on the screen? Honorable members, these are minutes of 30th of last month.
Chair,
Yes. Who's that?
it's Honorable Zondi, Chair.
Honorable Zondi?
Chair, I've read the minutes which was circulated. The minutes, Chair, are the true reflections of the discussions of the portfolio committee on the 3rd of May. So I propose that we adopt it.
Thank you, Honorable Zondi. Any second? Honorable Malomani?
Thank you, Chair. I'm seconding Honorable Zondi.
Thank you, Honorable members. Do you have any matters rising? Nothing. I declare these minutes are adopted through reflection of our meeting. the one of the 4th of May. Honorable members, I'm tabling on front of you the minutes of the 4th of May. Honorable Siabe. Honorable Siabe.
Thank you, Chair. I want to move for the adoption of the minutes, but I just wanted to check, and I've seen it coming when under apologies, it is written apologies were tabled. I don't know whether it's how they write. I would have preferred that apologies were tabled and accepted, or apologies tabled and not accepted. I know in this case the apologies were accepted. I just want guidance there, because if you just say they were tabled, I don't know. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. You tabled the apology. The meeting accept the apologies. So maybe if they are just written apologies were tabled, it's not enough. Those who want secretaries, they know that once have a secretary of Limpopo, the Guest province. Any seconder of the mover of adoption of the minutes?
Honorable Chair, it's Bisa.
Yes, Honorable Svisa.
Yes, I would like to move for the adoption of the amendment. I would like to second the adoption of the minute.
Thank you, Honorable Svisa. Minutes are adopted. I've seen Honorable Malomane's hand.
Sorry, Chair, before Honorable Maroman, khona la ngifuna ngibhekele i-point of corrections la umkhize. Uvusimoza umkhize.
Yes, ma'am.
Lapha kufuna ungene u-edge. Ngiyabonga. Thanks.
Oh, siyabonga, ma'am. Honorable Maloman.
Thank you, Chair. I'm not opposing. I just want to say, can we second with the amendments? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Maloman. the minutes are adopted accordingly, honorable members. Now, honorable members, we are going to this point, consideration and adoption. Oh, we're having a third, okay. On the 5th of May, honorable members, it's the day of museum, okay. Okay, present them. Meeting of offenses. Honorable members, I'm tabling these minutes to you to adopt them. Can any member want to do so? Honorable Maloman,
Thank you, Chair. I move for the adoption of the minutes.
thank you, honorable member. Any second? Honorable Siabi,
Thank you, Chair. I second the adoption of the minutes.
the minutes are proposed and seconded. Take it that the minutes are true reflection of somebody saying sorry.
Sorry to interrupt. I would like to make a correction on the spelling of my initials there. It's HB instead of BN. Thank you.
Siyabonga Mhlekazi. Minutes adopted with correction. Thank you. We are going there. Siyabonga. Thank you. We'll see where.
Thank you, Chair. Chairperson.
We still
Chairperson.
yes, Honorable Makaul.
Anofunda nihlonipha amakhosi. Inkosi lena senibhala kanje nizohlawula ngiyanitshela. Ngiyabonga.
Esixolisile njena. Oh,
Inkomo.
asinazo inkomo sixolisile. Uyazi ukuthi asina inkomo. Which is this now? Date 5 May. Okay, Boxing South Africa. Thank you.
Okay. Honorable Zondi, on the 5th of May,
Yes.
I move for the adoption, Chair.
Okay. Honorable Zondi, move for adoption of the minutes of the 5th of May. Any seconder?
Thank you, Chair.
Yes. Yes, Honorable Ismaloman.
Yes, Chair.
Okay.
I'm seconding Honorable Zondi, Chair. Thank you.
The minutes are being seconded and minutes agreed that they were true reflection of the day 6 May. Kuyasetshenzwa kule komiti akudlali.
Chairperson,
Hello, Honorable Mhlongo.
I've sent a notice via my secretary and I see that it's not noted that I've apologized. Yes, I did not attend, but I've sent a formal notice that I have other business. If they did not receive it, I'll resend it again. The notice that I am not attending the meeting on the 6th of May.
Oh, it's then Honorable Dennis. Oh, he fired so many questions. I've said, hey, today.
It was on their behalf, Chair. Sorry, it was on their behalf, the other two members. I asked for them as well. I asked all the questions that day.
Yes,
No,
yes.
sorry.
But the only thing, you didn't present their apologies. They were not there, but I've seen that, hey, we are taking the space now.
Yeah, I understand, Chair, for that. Thank you.
Okay.
Chairperson,
Honorable Sir.
before I move, I just want to check whether it will be procedural when the apology was not presented in the meeting to put it now, because it's not a correction. It was not presented in the meeting on that day.
So, and Jabu, did you get the apology?
Chair, I did not receive an apology, but I'll check with Siso. She's having a problem with her mic. So I'll call her quickly just to check if she received the apology, but it never came through to my side, Chair.
Yeah,
Chairperson,
on that,
Chairperson,
Honorable.
I did send mine to Zuleika. Sorry, Chair,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yes,
I
do.
did present I did put an apology to Zuleika.
Okay.
I've got proof of that, and I can put it to or I can send it forward in writing also.
Chair, Zuleika says she did not receive an apology from Mr. Mhlongo's office. I'm just waiting for the confirmation for Honorable Van Dijk.
I sent her a WhatsApp.
Honorable members, can we move on whilst people are still looking You have finished to table the minutes.
Yes, Chair, this was the last set of minutes for last week, Chair.
Okay, I'm seeing hands. Honorable Mhlongo, Honorable Siabe, Honorable Mhlongo's hand is, and Honorable Veronica. Or these honorable members who just spoken, you still want to?
No,
to
Chairperson,
talk?
I was saying, because the minutes should be a true reflection of what transpired in the meeting. The apology was not presented. Must not be understood to be having an issue. The apology was not presented. Therefore, we can't correct it. And then I therefore move for the adoption. So we can't put the apology today when it was not presented to the meeting on that day. That was my issue, but I move for the adoption.
Chairperson, before Chairperson,
yes, Honorable.
on a respectful way, I think we usually do this. What you do on your left, you must do it on your right. I remember we did, Honorable Zondi did not send it, we did not accept it, but we amended when he said he was there. He sent an apology, go Honorable Zondi, and it was amended in the minutes as we speak like this. I'm just saying, in future, when you do whatever that you do on your left, you do it on your right. Thank you.
Who must do that? It's me, whilst I'm not even responded.
I did not say it's you, Chair. Did I say that? I'm saying whatever anyone does it, anything that must be done, it must be there must be consistency as this committee. If we can allow some members to amend that they were there or they've apologized, it must be allowed to every member. It's what I'm saying.
Okay. Honorable members, now I'm seeing hands which are still up. Honorable Maloman.
Thank you, Chair. We're in the item of the minutes. We're correcting. If there is something which is wrong, we need to correct. But it can't be that what you do on the left-hand side, we must do on the right-hand side. If on the left-hand side it was correct, yes, we do it correctly so as we're correcting. If on the right-hand side is wrong, we're saying so it's wrong. But we are saying the administrators are confirming that they've never received the apology. So that's why we're saying we mustn't correct this thing of apologies. If you didn't submit an apology
Point of
and was
order.
not table, it was not tabled. So I second Honorable Siab. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Point of order, Chairperson.
Yes, Honorable
I just sent you the copy of my apology that was sent to the to Zoleka, and I also submitted now to what's her name, Java. So they can just confirm with you that I did make an apology. So I'm very it's going to reflect that I didn't put forward any apology to the committee, and it's unacceptable that it's now going to reflect on this minutes that I didn't apologize. So I want it to be rectified.
Chairperson, okay, Chairperson, before yekuzoleka ngoba vele sonke sizolosibuza ngawani zoleka. Yabona nami ngizwa ngiphatheka kabi ukuthi mabethi laba abanye kungalungiswa indaba ama-apology namhlanje thola ukuthi umuntu bengawenzile. Ama-apology ayahambisa, even now myself, kade ngibuza manje kuzethu ukuthi zethu wawasendile na, uzethu yes uyawasenda ngoba sisuke mhlambe si-committed kwezinye izinto zethu za iParliament. So si-report ukuthi akwenzi i-apology. Kufanele phela ivele lana, hayi kube sengathi manje sifuna ukuyikhava thina. Ama-mistake vese umuntu wonke uyawenza. Yingakho-ke ngithi manje akufuna sigcine manje sizolwa thina nalabantu abasizayo sengathi abawenzi umsebenzi. Wrong mabezovumelana ngokuthi lana singayibukhwesha indaba ama apology to why angaveli la noba fanele avele ngiyabonga chairperson.
You were going to check with Zoleka about the apology of Honorable Van Dijk.
Chairperson,
Yes.
sorry, Chair. Yes, I've just received the confirmation for Ms. Van Dijk that she did apologize. She sent me the screenshot, and Zoleka is confirming that she had received it, Chair.
It's the one of the Honorable Mhlongo, which is not confirmed.
We don't have that one, Chair.
Okay. Honorable members, we all rely in our secretariat. So you need to go and write the apology of Honorable Van Dijk on the screen. And Honorable Mhlongo must try to check with the secretary of his office. Honorable Malomane and Honorable Siabe, they did propose and seconded the minutes. I'm still seeing the hands of Honorable Siabe. Honorable Malomana, you still want to say something? Honorable Enox, okay. Minutes of the 5th are adopted with correction of the name of Honorable Van Dijk, who now was present. By that, honorable members, let's now go to you to consider on the consideration of the adoption.
Chairperson?
Hello.
Chairperson,
yes, Honorable Dennis.
Chairperson, my apology to interrupt, the minutes of the 5th, the minutes of the 5th at 9 o'clock meeting that refers to the Robben Island Museum.
Yes.
I just wanted us to check the spelling of the name of that official. It says here Mr. Dada, but I'm not sure. I don't think it was Mr. Dada. Don't have my rough notes with me, but I just wanted the official just to check the correct announcement and the spelling of that CEO of Robben Island Museum. Under point 4 in that minutes. Thank you, Chairperson.
Chairperson, the CEO of Robben Island Museum is Mava Dada. That's correct, there, Chair.
Okay. All right. Thank you. They're happy, then I'm happy. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Jabu, who's next? Who's going to present?
Chair, before that, Chair?
Oh, Honorable Mhlongo?
Yes. After the adoption, I'm concerned we're going back to the old fashion that I propose that each and every meeting we have, can we amend, approve the minutes, not have a special meeting to do this. I think you've said last time you'll make sure that we have that. Can we keep to our agreed issue that every meeting we must have minutes of the previous meeting, one set, not like what we did today. I think it's wrong for us to do this. And you've stated clearly that in future we won't do it again. Can we maybe keep to that? Thanks, Chair.
Because I don't understand when it's saying next time, I'm suspecting the administrators, they will tell me what does that mean, what we didn't do.
I mean, Chair, each and every meeting minutes must be tabled. That's what I mean. Not have a special meeting to adopt the minutes or to correct the minutes.
Can I assist, Chair?
Yes.
Last week, Chair, we had meetings for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday and Friday. the turnaround time for us to produce minutes after every meeting is 3 days. So we are still within the time to adopt the minutes, because if we did the minutes, we set on the Tuesday, then the minutes must be submitted by the Friday. So everything that we are doing today, it's minutes of last week, Mr. Mhlongo, if you look at the dates.
Chair, can I have a point of
Point
reference?
taken. Oh, okay. Yes, Honorable Mhlongo.
Chair, if it's 3 days, today I wonder how do you calculate the 3 days? I'm saying if we have meeting like Tuesday, the minutes must be adopted on Thursday or Friday. Now we did not do that because we had
No,
three.
Mr. Mhlongo, it's Monday. You
Can
count
I
the
be
day after the meeting. So the meeting was Tuesday.
Chair, can I be protected?
Please, Jabu, we must wait that Honorable Mhlongo must finish his point.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, if Jabu is saying, she's saying turnaround time is 3 days, if I heard it correctly, unless I did not hear it correctly. It says the turnaround time is 3 days. We have set of minutes that we've approved today, and then how do you count 3 days? That is my say. And I'm saying even in future, not only the last week we had a tight schedule. In future, let's have minutes. The next meeting we have, not a second day or 3 days after, we approve or amend those minutes. Thanks, Chair.
Honorable Siani, thank you, Honorable Mhlongo.
Chairperson.
Thanks, Chair. I think in principle, I want to support what Honorable Mhlongo is saying, but last week is an exception because we were having meetings every day. The administrators were also supposed to prepare for the next meeting. And you'll remember that one of the administrators had family challenges, and we were left with one who was supposed to assist to prepare for the next day. But in principle, when we have a meeting on a Tuesday, the next Tuesday when we have a meeting, we must approve that set of minutes. So I'm just saying, I support the principle as proposed by Honorable Mhlongo, but let us understand that last week we had meetings every day and the administrators were expected to prepare for those meetings. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Siani. Honorable Dennis.
Thank you, Chair. I'm covered by the previous speaker. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Honorable members. Thank you, Jabu. We were aware that it was only last week since we've started, we have agreed that we start with the minutes, but because last week it was like that, we are noting that that members did notice what happened last week. Can Fiona or Solomon take us through to the consideration and adoption of 2021-22 budget vote?
Thank you, Chairperson. It's Fiona speaking.
Yes, Fiona.
Then I just need your guidance on how to proceed in the matter of, in the interest of time, because it's almost 11 o'clock and it's quite a long report that we need to get through. The bulk of this report is made up of the budget analysis and the APP analysis that was sent to members prior to seeing this report. And I think the main issue that the members need to focus on in the interest of time, as I said before, is the committee observations and the committee recommendations. I am prepared to take you through the report, but I just need some guidance, Chairperson. Thank you.
Honorable members, the observations are very important, but members, if they want anything from the detailed report which is in front of us, they can talk to the entire presentation as we've read. So go on like what we are asking to do.
Thank you, Chairperson. So this is the report on the budget vote 37 for the Department of Arts and Culture. It's a draft report and would obviously be amended with the additions by the members. Just to give an overview of what is included in the report, it's the introduction, the purpose of the budget vote, the method that the report, how the report was crafted, the strategic overview of the department, the summary of the budget expenditure, an overview of the engagements with the entities that presented on the strategic plans to the committee observations, the committee recommendations, and the conclusion. So let's get through the introduction. Section 42(3) of the Constitution bestows the oversight function over the National Executive to the National Assembly. The committee considered the 21-22 budget of the Department of Sport, Art and Culture as part of its oversight function over the department, as mandated by the PFMA and the Moneyballs Amendment Procedure and Related Matters Act. The department briefed the committee on its 21-22 budget and 21-22 APP on the 4th of May 2021. This is a financial year that is characterized by the minimizing effect of the pandemic on the economy. And the overarching focus for this financial year is to renew the economy and to restore public finances. And thus the medium-term fiscal policy focuses on extending temporary support in response to the pandemic, narrowing the budget deficit and stabilizing debt, and exercising continued restraint in non-interest expenditure growth while improving the composition of expenditure. Vote 37 is presented at a time when the effects of the pandemic are extremely pronounced. This pandemic has had a significant adverse impact on the sports, arts and culture sector due to many restrictions placed on the movement and gatherings of people during lockdown. Lockdowns across the world led to the cancellation of sporting and cultural events, such as athletic meetings, concerts, theatre performances. Venues such as stadiums, museums, libraries, and cultural or creational centres were forced to close. And the impact of restrictions on domestic and international travel also meant that the two sectors basically came to a standstill. And this then resulted in the professionals in the sectors being severely impacted by loss of job opportunities as well as termination of jobs that had already been planned and agreed to. These are extreme but unavoidable measures that have impacted on the lives of performers, visual artists, museum and library personnel, writers, journalists, athletes, coaches, and all the associated trades that support them. Through budgetary realignments, the department has responded to the pandemic and has implemented several interventions, mainly in the form of relief funds, specifically geared to bringing relief for the sector, to retain jobs, but also to create new employment opportunities as per the national drive. These have and continue to happen alongside the implementation of the department's Mzansi Golden Economy strategy and support given to athletes through the scientific support program and sports academies. In addition to responding to the global pandemic, the department is in the process of ensuring a successful merger. In a presentation to the committee, the department provided an overview of the 6 work streams tasked with working on the merger. These include HR, management, organizational design, labor relations, change management, infrastructure, finance, information technology, legal services, and communications and marketing. At the time of the presentation, most key milestones had been achieved or were in progress and on schedule. The only two milestones that were running behind schedule were the IT workstream projects that included the relocation from the Regent building to Sechaba House because of delays in the physical relocation of staff and the review of the ICT policies. The purpose of this document, therefore, is to table the committee report after scrutiny of the budget allocated to vote 37 in the 2021 E&E. This report thus provides a comprehensive analysis of the department's allocated budget. And then section 2 is just an overview of the purpose of the vote as per the E&E. The purpose is to provide an enabling environment for sport, arts, and culture by developing, transforming, preserving, protecting, and promoting sport, arts, and culture at all levels of participation to foster an active, winning, creative, and socially cohesive nation. Then this is just an overview of how we went about crafting this report. The committee met to consider, the 2020 to 2025 strategic plans and the 2020-21 APPs of the department, the Robben Island Museum, Boxing South Africa, and SAIDS. These were considered against the background of key government policy documents, including, amongst others, the NDP, the MTSF, and the State of the Nation Address. With national lockdown restrictions still in place, all meetings were held virtually. Section 4 is an overview of the department's strategy. Cabinet adopted the NDP in 2012 as a long-term vision and plan for the country. This broad policy is regarded as the roadmap to deal with challenges of unemployment, poverty, and equality by 2030. Vision 2030 is conceptualized as standing on 3 policy pillars: achieving a more capable state, driving a strong and inclusive economy, and building and strengthening the capabilities of South Africans. These are underpinned by 7 government priorities as contained in the MTSF, and those are the priorities listed there. Within a broad policy framework, the department has to ensure that its outcomes and that of the entities reporting to the minister are aligned to these 7 broad policy priorities. This alignment ensures a direct focus of the work of the department and its entities over the next 5 years as part of a capable, ethical, and developmental state. This is a prerequisite for transformation in the sector, job creation, and targeted strategies to facilitate nation building and social cohesion. To this end, the department responds to Chapter 15 of the NDP, which is Transforming Society and Uniting the Country. This chapter draws together what is needed to transform the South African society to be prosperous, non-sexist, non-racial, and democratic, which are key values enshrined in the Constitution. In relation to the national priorities for the MTSF, with the exception of priorities 4 and 7, the department contributes to the remaining government priorities with a sharp focus on increasing the market share of and job opportunities created in the sector and building a diverse, socially cohesive society. In its effort to translate the broad policy statements into implementable programs, the department has stated the following as predetermined outcomes linked to the MTSF. And those are the 5 outcomes that are going to be implemented over the next 5 years, or the current 5 years of the MTSF. In support of these outcomes, the department has developed focus areas categorized into the following 10 points, and these are: create job opportunities and support entrepreneurs, increase the market share of sport, cultural, and creative industries, capacitate and professionalize the sport, arts, and culture sector, increase access to infrastructure and information, establish a common national identity in gender-compliant and responsive governance, strengthen sport and cultural diplomacy, accelerate social cohesion, promote official languages, and implement the emergency response plan on gender-based violence and femicide. The department has devised a range of high-impact projects to respond to these outcomes and focus areas. These include, amongst others, the amalgamation of the entities, the provision of government support to anti-doping agencies, support high-performance athletes to achieve success at international events, and to support practitioners through the SAC academies and centers of excellence and incubators. Over the MTSF, the department's policy and legislative program is guided by 2 white papers, and those are the white paper for arts and culture, which needs to be implemented, and the white paper for sport and recreation, and the latter white paper will coexist with that of arts and culture. The department's APP notes that it is in the process of developing and or reviewing the following policies and framework documents, and these are the Athlete Support Policy, the South African Sports Academy Strategic Framework and Policy Guidelines, the prioritization of sport and recreation bodies policy, women in sport policy, infrastructure policy, implementation framework of the South African Language Practitioners Council Act, national strategy for the development and promotion of a South African literary culture, visual arts strategy, arts and culture promotion and development funding policy, craft strategy, cultural and creative industries master plan, international relations, repatriation and restitution of human remains, and heritage object policy, and the national policy framework on the digitization of heritage resources. As the DG noted in the meeting with the committee, the department has embarked on a process that sees the temporary deprioritization of some projects and programs that do not directly support relief measures. So the department has refocused the integrated medium-term planning for resilience and inclusive development, and has focused efforts to improve the capacity and capability of the state to deliver efficiently and effectively. The intention of the MTSF is to integrate all key plans into results-based framework. And this will assist with the coordination and ensure that important interventions and milestones are monitored to support delivery and accountability. And then we move on to the summary of the budget expenditure for the current financial year. The department organizes its expenditure under 4 programs, and these are as follows. Program 1, which is administration. This program received 440.1 million rand for the financial year. Program 2, recreation, development and sport promotion, which has a budget of 1.44 billion rand. Program 3, arts and culture promotion and development, which has a budget of 1.28 billion rand. And Program 4, heritage promotion and preservation, which has a budget of 2.53 billion rand. And then the following is just a table to show the budget allocation for 2021 and then for the outer years of the medium term. And as you can see, the budget increases slightly from the last financial year up to 2023-24. But I'll just read through all of this for the benefit of the committee. The following points are for noting when considering the budget over the medium term. Total expenditure is expected to increase at an average annual rate of 3.6% from 5.31 billion in 2021, it's the last financial year, to 5.89 billion in 23-24. Spending on transfers and subsidies accounts for 80.2% or 13.9 billion of the department's budget over the MTF period. that should be accounts. Cabinet has approved reduction to the department's budget of 341.6 million in 2021-22, 441.3 million in 22-23, and 494.4 million in 23-24. These reductions mainly affect transfers and subsidies to public entities, the MGE work streams, heritage and legacy infrastructure projects, the mass sport participation and development grant, and the community library services grant, compensation of employees and goods and services. To mitigate these effects of the reductions on transfers and subsidies, affected public entities will be required to implement cost-saving measures and to raise their own revenue where possible. And that is quite important because taking into account the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, we are not sure how these entities who have already been struggling pre the pandemic, how they're going to raise revenue. Due to these restrictions, the department anticipates delays in the completion of infrastructure projects in 2023-24, when the reductions are effected on allocations to heritage and legacy infrastructure projects and the community libraries grant. The procurement of fewer library materials over the medium term and fewer mass sport participation and development programs over the same period. As stated earlier, for this financial year, the total budget allocation is 5.69 billion. This is projected to increase over the medium term. And when comparing the nominal amounts for the budget allocation across the medium term, allocations show a year-on-year increase. However, when we apply the inflation rates, the cumulative growth between 2021 and 2023-24 is actually negative. It shrinks by 0.7%. Program 4 receives the bulk of the department's allocation, that is 2.53 billion or 44.4%. And this is mainly due to significant transfers to heritage entities and the community libraries grant, which is transferred to all 9 provinces. Program 2 receives the next highest allocation, which is 1.44 billion or 25.3% of the total allocation. And this program transfers subsidies to SAIDS, BSA, and to various capital works projects underway at entities. Catered to administration, which is 440.1 million or 7.7% of the total vote allocation. So now we will look at each program. Program 1, the purpose of this program is to provide strategic leadership, management and support services to the department. This program plays an important role in giving effect to first priority of the NDP. And that is to build a capable, ethical and developmental state. This priority is also expressed in the MTSF for the 5-year term as a crucial mode that is required to achieve Vision 2030. The outputs delivered in Program 1 contribute predominantly to the department's outcomes 3 and 5. With the process of merging 2 departments in its APP, the department has highlighted the following in relation to administration. The 2 merged departments were at different levels of efficiency at the time of the merger, while Sports Recreation South Africa obtained consecutive clean audits. DAC obtained consecutive unqualified audit opinions with findings. Through shared expertise and resources, the department is working towards ensuring a clean audit for the new department or the newly merged department. Although the department is working towards a restructuring process following the merger between Sport and Recreation South Africa and DAC, it is important that vacancies of critical posts are filled. and demographic issues such as gender and disability are given attention. These must inform HR policies and the recruitment of staff. Just comparing the budget allocation for this year to the previous financial year, it represents a nominal increase of 7.4 million rand or 1.7%. And when taking inflation into consideration, the allocation has actually decreased by 10.3 million or 2.4%. And this is just an overview of the budget allocation for the department, comparing the previous financial year and the current financial year. Then we move on to program 2, which is recreation development and sport promotion. The purpose of this program is to support the provision of mass participation opportunities, the development of elite athletes, and the regulation and maintenance of facilities. That is facilities, both arts and heritage facilities and sport facilities. Interventions including the scientific support program, the sports academies, and the ministerial sports bursary program. It will also ensure that people participate in organized sport and active recreation events. The department embarks on sport and recreation promotion campaigns and events. Schools, hubs, and clubs provided with equipment and or attire. School sport is supported at district and national level, and national federations meet 50% or more of all prescribed chartered transformation targets. And then finally, through this program, the department supports and facilitates the implementation of sport and heritage infrastructure projects. Under this program, one indicator was revised, and this is the number of heritage legacy facilities, including the Resistance and Liberation Heritage Route site that's developed and or maintained to transform the national heritage landscape. For this financial year, efforts will be concentrated on 3 heritage legacy projects, namely Isibubu Cultural Arena or Enyokeni, the Sarah Bartman Center of Remembrance, and the J.L. Dube House. Moving on to program 3, which is Arts and Culture Promotion and Development. The purpose of this program is to promote and develop arts, culture, and languages, and implement the National Social Cohesion Strategy. The outputs delivered in program 3 contribute to all 5 of the department's outcomes. And these outputs will ensure the promotion and development of official languages and the support to efforts to increase qualified language practitioners through language bursaries, the development of CCIs through supporting practitioners and the enterprises in various cultural and creative sectors to gain access to both local and international markets. Capacity building projects are financially supported to enhance the ability of practitioners and enterprises to participate effectively in various stages of the value chain of their sector. Provincial community arts development programs have implemented that position and organize community arts development to align with the overarching government objectives of access and participation in the arts by South Africans, and the coordination of international engagements on the continent and globally, the promotion and support of programs and partnerships that foster nation building and social cohesion, including GBV and anti-femicide programs. The increase in support to the creative industry, including placement of artists in schools to promote and support arts education through the MGE strategy. And in table 4 just provides an overview of the budget allocation, comparing the previous financial year to the current financial year. There are 9 sub-programs in this program. For 2021, this program receives 1.28 billion rand, and this represents a nominal decrease of 252.7 million, or 16.4% compared to the allocation in the previous year. When the inflation rate is applied, the allocation has decreased significantly by 304.5 million, or 19.8%. The once-off funding allocated to sub-programs 8 and 9, which is the National Film and Video Foundation and the National Arts National Arts Council, in the last financial year was for the PSP, which resulted in an apparent decrease in allocations to these programs by 57 and 73.4% respectively in real terms. Of the total budget allocation for this program, the allocation to transfers and subsidies amount to 1.03 billion, or 80%. Through its sub-programs, this program funds, amongst others, PANSAB, the NFEF, the NAC, and performing arts institutions such as the State Theatre, PACOFs, and the Artscape. Under this program, there are 2 new indicators, and these are the number of monitoring reports on the implementation of a social compact for social cohesion and nation building. 2 reports are planned for this financial year. And then the second of the new indicators is the number of films and documentaries supported, telling the stories of the history of liberation, cultural and heritage importance. For this financial year, the department will support 10 films and documentaries. Moving on to Program 4, which is Heritage Promotion and Preservation. The purpose of this program is to promote and preserve South African heritage, including archival and heraldic heritage, and to oversee and transfer funds to libraries. The outputs delivered in Program 3 contribute predominantly to the department's outcomes 2, 3, and 4. And through its sub-programs, this program will support and implement a range of projects, including awarding heritage bursaries, books documenting living human treasures, the development of heritage policies, as well as the promotion of national identity using utilizing the flag at national days, major cultural and sporting events in schools, the Monument Flag Project, and I Am the Flag campaign, upgrade National Archives infrastructure to address infrastructure challenges in relation to space technology and processes, financially support newly built and or modular libraries, and to transform and standardize geographical names. Table 5 is just an overview of the budget allocation, comparing the last financial year to the current financial year. And then this is just an overview of what is happening within Program 4 in terms of the budget allocation. It receives 2.53 billion rand for this financial year, and that is a nominal increase of 403.4 million, or 18.6% compared to the allocation of 2.17 billion it received last year. Upon consideration of the inflation rate, the allocation has increased significantly by 299.7 million, or 13.8%. The budget allocation to sub-program 4, which is, let's scroll up, so just a second, Program 4 is National Library Services, has decreased significantly by 58.2% in real terms. This sub-program funds libraries and institutions such as the National Library of South Africa, the South African Library for the Blind, and Blind SA, and develops related policy. The allocation to sub-program 6, which is SARA, has also seen a decrease of 17.4%. SARA's mandate is to formulate national principles, standards, and policy for the identification, recording, and management of the national estate in terms of which heritage resources agency and other relevant bodies must function in relation to South African heritage resources. 95.6%, or 2.4 billion rand of this program's allocation for this financial year is classified as transfers and subsidies. And through this program, the department funds a significant number of entities, including but not limited to national museums, the National Heritage Council, and the South African Heritage Resources Agency, as well as public library services. The latter transfers funds to provincial departments for the conditional allocations to community library services for constructing and upgrading libraries, hiring personnel, and purchasing library materials. The Community Library Services Grant, the aim of which is to transform urban and rural library infrastructure and services through targeting previously disadvantaged communities. This grant primarily contributes to Government Priority 6, which is social cohesion and safe communities. The allocation for this financial year is 1.5 billion rand, or 59.3% of the total budget allocation for this program. Over the current financial year, the department plans to build 87 new libraries, upgrade 120 community libraries, procure 290,000 library materials over the medium term at an estimated cost of 4.6 billion rand through this grant. And for the current financial year, the following outputs are planned as per the Division of Revenue. And those are the targets for this grant, which includes building new libraries, appointing staff, providing capacity building programs for public librarians, and then due to COVID, there's also now for this financial year targets to provide deep cleaning and sanitization of the libraries. Under this program, which is program 4, there are 2 revised indicators and 1 new indicator. I'll just go through the revised indicators. These are the number of books documenting living human treasures to be published. The number of books increases from 2 in the previous financial year. They plan to publish 2, but in this financial year, they will actually be publishing 5. And then the other revised indicators, the number of heritage projects, legacy projects, where exhibition content is developed. The content will be produced or developed rather for 3 sites, namely the Sarah Barton Centre of Remembrance and the Winnie Mandela Brantford House Memorial and the R. Tambo Garden of Remembrance. The new indicator is the number of workshops hosted to advance knowledge of national symbols. And for this financial year, 10 workshops are planned. And then we move on to the committee's engagements with entities and with federations. Let's just skip through that and go straight to RIM. We have engaged RIM. The committee, has engaged RIM, and then this is just an overview of the Robben Island Museum and as a museum and a World Heritage Site. The entity's vision, and then the programs that are funded through its budget. And then just to state that the entity briefed the committee on its APP and other related matters on the 5th of May. And budget overview. The entity's projected total income for 2021-22 amounts to 107 million rand. The government will transfer a grant amounting to 87.1 million rand, or 81.1% of the total income. The government grant thus represents the bulk of the income for this entity. The overall departmental transfer is projected to increase to 88.8 million in 2022-23 and to 89.1 million in 2023-24. And then again, taking into consideration the inflation rate, the transfer is estimated to decrease slightly from 83.6 million in 2021-22 to 81.6 million in 22-23, and then to 78.6 million in 2023-24. So that means that over the MTF, there's a decrease in the allocation in relation to the inflation rate. For this financial year, Robben Island Museum generates the remaining income of 20.2 million rand, mainly through tours, but also through sales in their museum shops, rental income, and other income sources as they presented to the committee. Program 1 receives the bulk of the budget, which is 118.8 million, or 66.5% of the total allocation. Program 3, Administration, receives 49.2 million, or 27.5% of the allocation. And then Program 2, Public Engagement, receives the smallest allocation, which is 10.7 million rand, or 6%. And this is important to note. The personnel costs for this financial year amount to 120.8 million rand, and this is 33.7 million rand more than what the department transfers to them. As we heard in the presentation by the entity, the pandemic has negatively impacted revenue generation, and RIM was not able to operate in terms of tours for 6 months of the last financial year. And then furthermore, due to various lockdowns across the world, foreign visitors who constitute almost 80% of RIM's visitors were not able to travel, and thus an estimate of only 18,800 tickets were sold against an initial planned number of 322,000, which then translates into a loss, which then translates into less than 6% of the required sales that they had planned to generate income through. And then subsequently, it has impacted negatively on the museum's financial stability and sustainability, as all the reserves were utilized to service contractual, including an unfunded mandate relating to diesel in order to produce electricity and water on the island, as well as employment commitments. Then we're looking at Boxing South Africa, just an overview of what they're about and their functions, their vision, their programs. I'll just go through the budget overview for this financial year. The committee met with BSA on the 5th of May to scrutinize its APP and budget for this financial year. BSA's main long-term revenue base is its annual allocation from the department, totaling 19.1 million rand for the current financial year. In addition to money appropriated from the fiscus, a projected income of 3.5 million comes from internally generated revenue sources, including licensing, sanctioning levies, penalties, and interests from the investment revenue. Collectively, this brings the total budget for 2021-22 to 22.7 million rand. Then just to run through the allocations per program, Program 1 is Governance and Administration, receives the bulk of the budget, which is 16.7 million, or 73.6%. Program 2, Boxing Development, receives 3.4 million, or 15%. And Program 3, Boxing Promotion, receives the smallest allocation, which is 2.5 million rand or 11%. Total expenditure is expected to increase to 23.4 million rand in the next financial year, and then to 23.8 million rand in 23-24. The total budget for this financial year will be spent as follows: 8.9 million rand or 39.2% on compensation of employees, 12.9 million rand or 56.8% on goods and services, and 870,000 or 3.8% on capital expenses. BSA has flagged the following challenges: insufficient funding vis-a-vis a total mandate as per the Boxing Act, insufficient personnel capacity to deliver on strategic objectives, resistant to change by licensees, unaligned financial assistance by most municipalities and provincial departments when sponsoring boxing tournaments, diminished boxing broadcasting, and few programmatic relations between BSA and the South African National Boxing Organization, or SANABO. The committee also engaged with SAIDS, and this is again just an overview of what they are all about. Let me just see if there's anything important to flag here. Just that the entity receives a majority of its funding from the department, so it needs that transfer to do what it needs to do. These are the programs that SAIDS is designed to carry out its mandate. And then just the budget overview for SAIDS. As I've said, the committee engaged SAIDS on the 6th of May, which is last week, on its APP for the current financial year. For this financial year, SAIDS will receive a total budget of 28.6 million rand. Expenditure and revenue is expected to increase at an average annual rate of 4.3% from 26.8 million rand in the last financial year to 30.3 million rand in 23-24. The Institute is set to derive 98.2% of its revenue over the MTF through transfers from the department. Spending on goods and services accounts for an estimated 62.2 million or 70.2% of the institution's expenditure over the medium term. What is this written here? Sorry, I'll fix that later. To meet the National Sports Federation's demand for testing services to comply with the respective international obligations. The budget of 28.6 million rand for this financial year will be spent as follows: on Program 1, which receives the bulk of the total budget, which is 13.5 million or 47.2%. Program 2 receives 13.2 million rand or 46.1%. Program 3, which is Education, receives 1.7 million rand or 5.9%. And Program 4, International Relations, receives the smallest allocation of 290,000 rand or just 1% of the total budget. Over the MTF, the SAIDS intends to focus on implementing processes to ensure stricter compliance with the 2021 World Anti-Doping Code. One of the international standards, the International Standard for Testing and Investigations, in the code requires a minimum level analysis on banned substances in specific sports. This will see a projected minimum of 1,100 increasing to 1,600 drug tests conducted on South African athletes each year over the medium term. The full accreditation to the Bloemfontein laboratory was restored in September 2018, and SAIDS resumed sending all its drug testing samples to the South African laboratory, and savings in courier costs will be realized through additional tests. The effect of the national lockdown on the laboratory and subsequent shutdown of sport has not yet been fully determined with respect to the resumption of full operations. The revenue generated from testing analyses funds the laboratory. Should the laboratory close in the medium term due to financial constraints, SAID's expenditure will be significantly affected due to samples having to be sent overseas for analysis. The testing expenditure will be subjected to the volatility of the South African rand with respect to other international currencies. And then I have populated, we're moving on to section 7, which is the committee observations. So I've populated some observations as per the meetings, but this is where members can provide further input if they feel that these are not sufficient or they need to be amended. Having considered and examined the departmental and above mentioned entities' strategic plans and APPs with associated budgets, the committee made the following observations. So in this section, I have separated out as above with the budget reviews. I've separated out the department from the entity. So we will deal with the department. Then we will move on to Robben Island, BSA, and SAIDS. And that's the same format for the recommendation. So if we just work through the committee's observations for the department. Consequence management. The committee noted the matter of consequence management to deal with transgressions within the department and its entities and sought further insight into how the department implements consequence management. Observation 2 was in terms of collaboration. In a previous engagement with the department, the committee agreed to adopt schools yet to receive national flags as part of the department's Flags in Schools project. The committee inquired about the status of this resolution. And then observation 3 is in relation to SIFSA. The committee noted that artists are displeased with the federation to the extent that some artists do not wish to be affiliated with it. The committee sought further clarity on this matter and wished to know what budgetary support the department provides to SIFSA. Observation 4, which is the merging of the two departments. The committee noted that while the process of merging with the DSC with Sports and Recreation South Africa is currently still underway, it sought further clarity on the finalization of the process. Organizational stability and human resources. Given that the department is newly merged, the committee inquired about the department's plan to fill vacancies. Governance of entities. To ensure good governance in the wake of the concern of the recycling of council members who have a record of poor performance, the committee asked how the department is going to rectify this issue. In respect of Love Life, the committee asked why Love Life is still funded by the department, given that in an engagement with the committee, it surfaced that the organization's targets were not measurable. Costs related to governance of entities. The committee noted that the department spends a significant amount on board politics and inquired about plans to reduce such costs. Outstanding legislation. The committee requested information on the status of this and sought further clarity on legislation that the department will prioritize and fast track. Support for sector practitioners in light of the pandemic. The committee asked that in light of its recent oversight visit, to follow up on concerns of disgruntled artists, if the department could provide further insight into how it goes about providing training to artists. The library function. The committee noted that a large percentage of the budget for Program 4 is transferred for the provision of library services and noted that this function is hidden within the program, which to some extent hampers oversight. Support for Caster Semenya. The committee is of the view that more should be done to support Ms. Semenya. And then in relation to Cricket South Africa and SASCOC, the committee noted with concern the challenges that hamper these organizations. Chairperson, should I move to the recommendations and then move back to observations, or should I just continue?
Continue to the
Okay, sure.
observations.
Thank you, Chairperson. The observations in relation to the Robben Island Museum. This is the reduced ability to generate revenue. The committee notes with concern that RIM has been severely impacted by the pandemic to the point where it has failed to generate a significant portion of its budgeted revenue during the last financial year. Business rationalization. It is with concern that the committee has noted that due to budgetary constraints, RIM has embarked on the process of business rationalization and has invoked Section 189 of the Labour Relations Act as a final resort after requesting staff to take salary cuts. The internal-external audit function. Due to financial constraints, the committee expressed its unease with the fact that some audits could not go ahead as planned. The investigation into alleged corruption and mismanagement. The committee is appreciative of the fact that consequence management is currently being implemented at the RIM stemming from this investigation. Then we turn to BSA. With regard to sanctioning fees, the committee expressed concern over the poor collection on sanctioning fees by BSA, development of boxing at a national level. The committee showed concern that boxing development and tournaments were concentrated in one province, namely the Eastern Cape. And inquired if there is a rollout plan for boxing to take place in the rest of the provinces, with particular emphasis on rural areas. Collaboration and partnerships. The committee was concerned about the relationship between BSA and SANABO and need to do a follow-up as to whether the two organizations have a good working relationship. Planning, the committee noted that BSA should try to stay the course with the strategic plan set out at the Boxing Indaba of 2013 and continue an upward trajectory by implementing the resolutions of the Indaba. Women's boxing, the committee expressed concern regarding the development and lack of funding of women's boxing and would like to see more support for female boxing. Popularity of the sporting code. The committee noted with concern that boxing in South Africa was not popular among the public and called for BSA to speed up the process of acquiring a license with the SABC in order for it to broadcast live boxing matches. And this is the last set of observations, which is for SAIDS. In relation to doping in schools, the committee wishes to see an increased rollout of sport doping education at school level, given that there was an increased steroid use among high school students and athletes. Drug testing at schools, the committee noted that there needs to be some form of legislation allowing for increased drug testing at school level without the interference of parents and coaches. And then in respect of irregular expenditure, the committee is concerned over the increased level of irregular expenditure at SAIDS. And then we're moving on to the recommendations. It is requested that the Minister of Sport, Arts and Culture considers the following recommendations and reports back to the committee by no later than the end of 2021-22, the financial year, the current financial year, that is the end of March 2022. I'd just like to bring to the committee's attention that some of these recommendations, the timeframes may need to be moved forward depending on what the members propose. The recommendations in relation to the department itself, it is recommended that the minister deals with consequent management. The committee notes with appreciation the progress the department has already made with implementing consequence management within the department and its entities, and requests that this work continues. In terms of collaboration, the department should provide members with a list of schools still requiring flags and provide the members with said flags to deliver to schools within their constituencies. The Department of Basic Education will then take responsibility of hoisting and maintaining these flags. SIFSA, as the department noted, SIFSA is a work in progress. The department should provide the committee with SIFSA's current status and keep the committee informed on further developments. The merging of the two departments. The committee should keep the department should keep the committee abreast of developments on this front. Organizational stability and human resources. The department is to provide the committee with regular updates on filling of vacancies to ensure that service delivery happens effectively. The governance of entities. The department should look into just reading through this again. The department should look into the matter of recycling board members who are not bringing value. This needs to be done properly based on how they left previous boards. Love Life, the committee has resolved to meet with Love Life again to strengthen oversight. Costs related to governance of entities. The department is to provide the committee with a report on the costs stemming from board politics. Outstanding legislation. The department is to provide a list of all outstanding legislation that it has prioritized. Support for practitioners in light of the pandemic. The department should look into providing more capacity building opportunities for artists. The library function, the department is to consider moving this function to become a standalone program within the budget. Support for Casta Semenya. The case of Casta Semenya should be fully supported by the department at the European Court for Human Rights. And in the matter between CSA and SASCOC, the minister should continue to monitor the work of Cricket South Africa and the South African Sports Confederation and Olympic Committee, given the challenges the organizations have been facing. And then moving on to the recommendations related to the observations in terms of Robben Island. Reduced ability to generate revenue. The RIM should look creatively at generating revenue through alternate means. Business rationalization. While in the last financial year, additional resources have been allocated to retain staff, the department and the entity should work together on a viable solution to stave off possible retrenchments. Internal and external audit function. The department should assist the entity to ensure that all audit functions are carried out to reduce the risk of an unfavorable audit opinion or audit outcome. Investigation into alleged corruption and mismanagement. The department should keep the committee updated on the progress made in respect of the consequence management that has been initiated and currently underway. Recommendations in relation to the observations made on Boxing South Africa. Sanctioning fees. The accounting authority must implement consequence management, and there must be an action plan to deal with investigations for cases of irregular, fruitless and wasteful expenditure. to ensure that matters of discipline, financial misconduct, and recovery are dealt with. Development of boxing at the national level. The committee would like to see a rollout plan of boxing development and tournaments throughout the country, especially in rural provinces, as boxing is currently concentrated in one province. Collaboration and partnerships. BSA should strengthen and maintain good working relationships with SANABO. Planning, BSA should stay on course with the strategic plan set out at the Indaba of 2013 by implementing the resolutions. And BSA should familiarize itself with the framework for managing strategic plans, the framework for managing strategic plans and annual performance plan, and the framework for managing program performance information. BSA should make sure that the performance indicators and targets are clearly defined, measurable, and specific to the overall strategy of the organization. Women's boxing, BSA should put more effort into the development of women's boxing, especially in the cases where tournaments receive state funding. Popularity of the sporting code. The committee calls for BSA to speed up the process of acquiring a license with the SABC in order for live professional boxing matches to be broadcasted on the national broadcaster. The recommendations in relation to the SAIDs, doping in schools, with assistance from the department through school sport and community sport programs, SAIDs must consider reaching out to township and rural areas to implement the anti-doping education project specific to youth sports. And this point was also raised in previous financial years. Drug testing at schools. Through engagements with the department, SAIDs needs to look at drafting legislation that will address drug testing at school sport level to avoid resistance from coaches and parents. With regard to irregular expenditure, SAIDs needs to update its SEM and procurement policy to include the requirements for local production and content, and to continue with the strict compliance practices currently in place. And then just in conclusion, the committee welcomes the strategic plans and annual performance plans of the department and its entities with which it engaged. The committee acknowledges the importance of the mandate of the department in building and uniting South Africa. It further acknowledges that through various programs, the department will play a vital role in facilitating job creation in the sector, as well as developing and capacitating sport, arts, culture, and heritage practitioners. Struggling sport federations should continue to be provided with financial assistance through Sports Trust, especially those affected by the postponements and cancellation of events during lockdown. This is crucial in light of the current economic climate, as many practitioners have been adversely affected through loss of income and/or job opportunities. The committee further notes that the department should prioritize the issue of transformation in sport, given the slow pace in some sporting codes, and the development of school sport and community sport clubs programs can be facilitated by fast-tracking and implementing the MOU between the department and the Department of Basic Education. And then just to state that the committee recommends that the House adopts the budget vote report of vote 37 for the Department of Sport, Art and Culture. And the report is to be considered. Thank you so much, Chairperson.
Thank you so much, Fiona. Honorable members, take it out from the screen. Yes. Thank you, honorable members. We have seen how long it is, but it's because it's a huge departments which did finally come together and That's why since inception, we've been having meetings. If you still remember, past quarters, we were meeting from Tuesday to Fridays. We're not even having Fridays, as we have seen even now. Thank you so much with informative report. I'm seeing the hand of Honorable Mhlongo.
Dennis Joseph, Chairperson, thank you.
Yes. Honorable Mhlongo.
Chair, I wanted to find out regarding the recommendation, especially on the dates. I believe let's give the department 6 months, not the entire 12 months. That's my suggestion.
On what?
There were recommendation with since for 2022 March. I think it's too much. Let's give them 6 months, not the entire 12 months roughly. Unless I didn't read it correctly. The actual turnaround time.
Noted. Noted, Honorable Mhlongo. Any other thing? Okay, Honorable Dennis.
Chairperson, yes, just thank you, Fiona, for all the hard work you've put in for the committee. Chairperson, I would like to, Fiona, just to, I'm not going to change this point I'm raising now, but to build, the department plans to build 87 libraries. I just would like her to, maybe if she can find out afterwards, how many libraries do we actually need compared to the department's plan? Because if you plan schools and you see so many children are born this year, then you know in 6 years' time there should be a primary school, according to SA Stats. So I don't know how the department gets to this total that they need to build 87 libraries. It's just a comment that we'll take on afterwards. Don't have to change the report. Yeah, there is a concern about the staff cost at Robben Island. But the questions I want to ask, the unfunded mandate on diesel and electricity, I can't recall it. We spoke about it. It is a very important issue, but I'm interested in the unfunded mandate at Robben Island. Not to change the report now, but I'll follow up on that. The question I actually wanted to ask on the point that I wanted to change in the report or recommend is just for clarity, 8.6. Right at the end, the word recycling is used, recycling of the board members. Now, we start off by talking about consequences management, and then later on we shift the wording to recycling of board members. So I want to suggest that we should use the word that consequence management be applied and not recycling, because if you recycle the rotten apples, we sit with the same problem on the boards. It was at 8.6, Chair, towards the end. And then 8.8, it should be litigation, the word litigation. That the question was how much money, this is about the board politics, how much money the department spent on litigation. Because they said they're going to add up all the cases in all the entities and tell us the litigation figure that people budget for, so we can see how much money is spent on litigation on internal board politics. And then the last one, 8.14, right at the end. We should just add alternative means there for Robben Island, but if you can just add the word, it was actually specifically focused on marketing, to generate more income. So I think the word marketing must just be added right at the end in that sentence, where we talk about alternative means. Thank you, Chairperson. And once again, thank you for the report.
Thank you, Honorable Dennis. I've seen the hand of Honorable Mhlongo.
Apology, Chair. I wanted to add, can we put the word, like, I think we can even edit it, like sports as a recommendation. Sports must be autonomous, but government must support the vision of sports in South Africa. I think we must put it as a recommendation.
Autonomous as from where?
Sports must be autonomous body, and the government must support its autonomy.
Who's not muting? We have done, Honorable Ntrom.
No, I'm not done, Chair. I had another issue regarding sports in Daba. I think we must have a date, like as a recommendation for soccer in Daba. Soccer in Daba. It has been long outstanding. I think we must put a timeline for that. Thank you, Chair. I'm done now.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Ntrom. Honorable Siam. Honorable Siam.
Thanks, Chair. Generally, I agree with the report and I support the additions by honorable colleagues. But the one I don't understand clearly is this one that says sports must be autonomous. Maybe if Honorable Mutlongo can explain it further, because my understanding now is that sport is autonomous. Sporting bodies are autonomous, but they are being regulated in terms of government legislation. So if you can explain it further so that I don't support something that I don't understand. Thanks, Chair.
Honorable Mutlongo.
Thanks, Chair. I think maybe when I call autonomy, I'm talking about self-governance, power. For an example, I'll give an explanation. SASCOC, when you read the reports today and yesterday, Cricket South Africa claims that they went to a SASCOC meeting and they claim that they were under pressure, they were pushed, they were forced. And the president, not only the president, SASCOC later voted that there's no independence, independent members are not allowed to all sporting bodies. Now, it shows that there was no autonomy allowed. There was no democratic process which was allowed. Now I'm calling that let's allow all sport bodies to be autonomous.
Can I contribute also?
Maybe
I'm worried about what was starting to debate, because Cricket South Africa didn't say that. It was SASCOC. That's why some of us were worried. The people who have got this problem or of whatever it was happening, of taking the colors and blah, blah. But when they did come to the committee, they were coming with the understanding that they've implemented, that is MOI, whatever. But the one person, the one entity, not person, was having a problem. As I'm sitting here, we can't go and discuss, and when you want the interventions, one body out of 3 bodies, let me say that, did come and complain, but the very affected people were not complaining. They were saying that for the sake of whatever we have said, even our good self, we have agreed. So I don't understand really how can we take that SASCOC is not happy, blah, 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 because it was SASCOC and Cricket and the department. They've been doing this thing since 2020. When now they did come to us, this thing of saying that they've been forced, Cricket South Africa, did they say to us they've been pushed, except that it was SASCOC president who was saying that they've been pushed. So the problem now, these people are not here, and we want to open that debate of themselves, that we did give them a longer time to understand each other and since 2020, and now when they were here, they will come with the let's say, their compromised version. Let me give Honorable Zondi, Honorable Siabe. I'll come back to you, Honorable Mhlo.
Thanks, Chair. I think I agree with Honorable Siabe to say sport is autonomous, but it must be autonomous within the legislative framework. I don't need any new resolution, because if we are saying that without explaining what the new idea on the autonomous, it will take us back to the legislation. But having said that, Chair, I don't think Cricket South Africa and SASCO issues raised to us were meant to say they are not autonomous. They've been doing they've been doing everything they like without the department or the government. Even the issue of their donors when they explain to us. But they should, every sport code in South Africa should be autonomous, but within the legislative framework. We can't just give people or entities autonomy, unlimited autonomy as the government. We can't say. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Siabe.
Honorable Zondi said what I wanted to say, and it remains for now, is a point for debate. It remains an allegation because, like we used to say, every story has two sides. It's only SASCOC which claims that people were pressurized, but we didn't hear it from any other person. If we want to follow up on it, we can check whether there's anybody who has overstepped his or her mandate. But for now, I don't think we can include it there, because as far as we're concerned, there's legislation within the country which gives sporting codes an amount of autonomy. And we always say government should not intervene unless it is necessary. In terms of, you are muted, Chairperson.
Speaking behind you, I don't know whether it's your TV or what. You are not alone as we are speaking.
Okay.
Okay.
I think it's the TV. My apologies, Chair. But you got what I said, or should I repeat?
I did.
Okay. Thanks, Chair.
Okay, Honorable Mhlongo.
I think we're talking the same thing. For safeguard, let's put that recommendation that the government must legislate, sporting body must be autonomous, just to safeguard what you are saying. I think Bob Zondi could the same thing that I'm saying. There must be the law. Yes, we are lawmakers. Sports body must be independent. I think autonomy is all about independence. Now I'm putting that recommendation to suffice if they perceive, because that two sides of the story, it's there, and we'll note that we believe that sports must be autonomous with the regulation that we are approving in Parliament. Thank you.
But I'm thinking that we do have that legislation. Sport is autonomous. That's what I don't understand. But as other members were saying, we're not talking any new understanding. Honorable members, if they are. Yes, Honorable.
If it's like that, I don't think we have to debate this. Let's put it as a recommendation. And obviously, we believe that sports will be autonomous, because on the report that we have, it does not cover that sports is autonomous. This is our document, and then we will support it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Mhlongo. Honorable Sead.
Chairperson, I don't agree that we put that as a recommendation. A recommendation is something that you want to address something and you want approval because we're recommending to Parliament to approve. For now, there's no problem statement. So we're just insinuating that the sport is not autonomous. When in terms of our legislation approved by us as parliamentarians, we're saying that. So we're becoming superfluous. So I don't support that we include that in the report. Chair?
Thank you, Honorable Sead.
Chairperson.
Yes, Honorable Dennis. Yes, Honorable Dennis.
Yeah, thank you, Chairperson. I think if we specifically speaks about the experience with SASCOC and the minister's intervention and all these things, then I want to say to my colleague, Honorable Sepo, that the process is not completed. SASCOC is even, I think tomorrow, still coming to us with all their internal processes that is not completed to finalize what has been agreed upon recently. So I think for now we should just park that recommendation and then see what comes out of SASCOC and the whole sporting coach industry. There may be a few new challenges, but I think that should inform us. The end result should inform us as how to move forward and whether legislation in place is sufficient to deal with the mandate and the autonomy, and then what recommendations we should make. So I'm not entirely shooting it down. I'm just saying it's a question of timing, Chairperson, when we want to submit a new recommendation in that context that Member Mhlongo has placed it. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Dennis. Honorable Member, Honorable Mhlongo still have hand up.
Thanks,
Yes,
Chair.
Honorable Mhlongo.
Chair, either my recommendation, can we quote the act that says body are autonomous? Can we put that act, put the section in that act, and then I'll be fine as a recommendation. Since there's an act that says sporting body are autonomous, we can put it, and can I be given that act and the section in that act, and then I'll be happy we quote our own act, and then we'll be covered. Because I believe that this recommendation, it can assist us even in future. And for information, Dennis, it's done. The SASCOC HEM head was on Sunday, and they've concluded that they're not going to support the MOI. For information, Honorable Dennis. And it's not only one member of SASCOC, all federation that are represented at SASCOC. I think I'll give you a clear example. Yes, last week, SAFA stated clearly that they're not going to implement the independent president. That is one I can tell you more about. I think you were there and the minister was not there. Thank you very much. I still believe that my recommendation must be included on the recommendation. Thanks.
Honorable Mhlongo, 3 to 4 of your own members, they are saying it must not be included. And we cannot now discuss as Honorable Dennis, the things which were discussed in SASCOC. Fortunately, they do come to us. Let's not mix those issues. We've seen the issuing statements, and in a meeting, they differed with the cricket. Cricket did, and we have seen that in our last meeting. But let's say that we are not putting as members 4 of them saying no, but we are in liberty of to open and discuss this, as we are saying. So, because now we are trying to adopt, and there's no department that now, as we're sitting here, can present these documents, which was saying the sport is autonomous and you want the document which it must be presented. I don't think we have that capacity to do it today. I don't think if one item out of observation of the members, we can not to go on will noting this discussion about the autonomous of sport. So that's my ruling, honorable members. Thank you for engaging in issues amicable. Can we say something after this, honorable members? I'm putting now I'm putting that we must consider and adopt this report.
Chairperson?
As a yes, honorable Mhlongo.
I wanted to find out, did you
Yes,
note
Honorable
the,
Mhlongo.
yes, Chair, did you approve the soccer indaba that it must be there? The soccer indaba, was it approved that it must be as a recommendation that they must facilitate it or it must be hosted this year? Because we've been postponing soccer indaba for years. It was
No
part
one
of
rejected.
or that one is okay. Thank you very much.
I didn't hear anyone rejecting on that point, Honorable Mhlongo. That's why I didn't even talk about, because if it's a view of a honorable member and other members not saying anything is in.
Thanks, Chair.
Honorable
Last
members.
one, Chair. So the last recommendation, Chair, and then I'll be, we'll go for adoption. I think we don't need political interference in sport. I think as part of the recommendation, can it be there? We don't need political interference.
Honorable members, this is another observation. Honorable Sial.
Person?
Thanks, Chair.
Chairperson?
After
there is a noise someone has got the mic open. There's a heavy noise going on, Chairperson. Sorry.
I didn't say that I've muted. Honorable Sial.
No, Chair, I was saying, with due respect, Honorable Mhlongo now is trying to be semantic, bringing the same recommendation in another way. We have a law in this country. I didn't want us to debate it further, which says there must be no political interference. It's the same thing that we were debating, that there was pressure from somewhere to force issues. I think it's the same thing, which we said we can't include it now until we hear very clear that there's something wrong, like Honorable Dennis said.
Honorable members, who's this? Honorable Zondi. Thank you, Honorable Sial. Honorable Zondi. Honorable Zondi.
Yes, Chair. No, Honorable Chair, I agree with you, Honorable Sial. If we are saying we don't want political interference, if we put that in a resolution, it would seem as if we know that political interference has interfaced in the department. Yet we have never had such. Instead, there were interventions as outlined by the law. I don't think we need a resolution that say we don't need, as if there is an interference that we have witnessed as a portfolio committee. We don't, Chair. And there is no need for a resolution, because we have legislation that governs all these entities. And they have never raised any issue of any interference from any political or any politicians or political party, by the way. Thanks.
Thank you, honorable members. The point is falling out. We're not going to put it here. Honorable members, I'm putting this that you must adopt this report, consideration and adoption of this report.
Chair,
Honorable
can you note
Yes.
our reservation on the report?
Thank you, Honorable Mhlongo. As a committee, we're noting reservation of DA.
Chair,
Yes,
Honorable Zondi.
yes, Honorable Zondi.
Chair, I propose that we adopt the report.
There's a proposal, honorable members, by Honorable Zondi. I've seen Honorable Madlingozi.
Chair, with all the National Arts Council's disrespect of creatives, the presidential employment stimulus program that are not clearly stipulated, and the road at the Robben Island Museum that is making an accommodation for the seagulls that are doing the outgrown, everything else about Mr. Mkhai's allegation of theft of his intellectual property, of the design of the South African flag, SASCO's assistance of members council pull back towards transformation of cricket, and everything else. I don't think it warrants any adoption of this budget vote. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Madlingozi, you
Yes, Chair.
are not adopting this, you're reserving it, or you don't. That's the only thing. Now we are debating.
I'm not debating, Chair, I'm just telling. Thank you,
No,
Chair.
no. The point on the table, we are adopting this report. Honorable Mhlongo was clear. They're having reservation of adopting, and that's the norm. So Honorable Honorable Zondi said they are adopting the consideration of adoption. I wanted any seconder. Honorable Siabi. Honorable Siabi.
The ANC
Honorable-
components, Chair.
Yes. I'm
We
listening.
second the adoption of the report.
Thank you.
Point of
Honorable.
correction, Chairperson, Chair.
Yes.
We are about like we portfolio committee. There is no ANC, no EFF, no DA. Akasho into yot Honorable Seyabi ati we are adopt a vele yakubatina as EF as a member of LAN as adopt tota not lanati ANC. Ngicela ikhuze leyo nto ngoba la asikho kwi house lana Chairperson. Useyabe akayeke lento yakhe. Ngiyabonga.
Ubaba uMhlongo ayithini yena?
No. Akaze nathi aphathi DA.
Utheni kahle ubaba
Useyabe, Honorable Useyabe uzothi ANC. We are not talking about ANC here. It's not a house here. Thanks.
Okay, Mama. Honorable, I'll come to you, Honorable Mhlongo and Siabe. Let me give it to Honorable Sibisi.
Thank you, Chair. I support the adoption of the vote 37 bills.
Thank
Not a
you.
bill. Report.
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 Apologize.
Oh, I support you.
Apology.
Report, Sihlalo. Support and song.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Mshongo.
Apology. I thought I'm speaking alone. Apology, Baba. Apology. I didn't mute. I apologize. You have a right, Baba. It's fine. But I want to concur no Mam Kaula. I didn't say I've said we reserve our rights, and I don't need to chairperson Abuzu Mam Kaulu Ting. I was here. Thank you very much.
No, Honorable Mshongo. You know what? When you say you as a collective, a collective is the whole committee, but immediately that with your team, you mean as members of DA, you are reserving, and there's nothing wrong on that.
Chair, don't put words into my mouth. I didn't put DA. I've said me and my team of the committee. Thank you, Chair. On a lighter note,
A team of committee, you include all of us. We are a team of the committee.
Honorable Chair.
Honorable Knox. Honorable Siada.
Yeah, for proper recording, if Honorable Mshongo says, I agree with Ma'am Kaula, the directions she's giving, but just clarity, if Honorable Mshongo says we, who is he referring to? For minute purposes.
Honorable Mshongo.
Okay, it can be noted that Honorable Mshongo reserved the rights. Let me leave it as I. Isn't this? It's not my mother tongue.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Because we have said we as a team, so that's why I was thinking that now maybe we talk about the team of other colleagues. So
you can ask,
I'm sorry to say. I'm sorry.
Maybe you can ask Honorable Dennis, is he supporting it or not?
I can't ask individually. I'm not allowed to do that. I've put the question, so I cannot ask each a member of the committee to do that. So this is not the way that I'm running the committee. We've heard your objection, Honorable Mhlong, your reservation. Honorable Knox.
Sorry, Chair. Sorry, Chair.
Honorable.
I forgot to lower my hand. Sorry.
Okay.
Chairperson.
Honorable Member.
Chairperson.
Hello, Honorable Dennis.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. I want to ask my colleague to withdraw his words. He made a statement now saying you must ask me whether I support it or not. I'm not a voting member of this committee, and I think he's out of order by making that statement. Thank you.
Amanda.
If you're not a voting member, they must not include your number. Only two members objected the political interference.
I didn't give you time to speak, Honorable Mhlong. What is going on now? Honorable members, let me take this opportunity to tell.
Apology. I've raised my virtual hand. You didn't see it. I apologize. You didn't give me an opportunity. I apologize.
No, the hand was not there also, Honorable Mhlongo. I'm looking at the participants, and even if I'm not in the participant, in the screen, the hands are also shown. Honorable members, can I take this opportunity to tell what has expired in this meeting? Honorable Siabe adopted the report, seconded by Honorable Zondi, thirded by Honorable Sibisi, and Honorable Mhlongo reserved his voting power to adopt the report. The report is being adopted, and thank you very much to you, honorable members. Let's go and prepare. I've forgotten you, honorable Madringos. Yes, I'm sorry. You rejected. You said you didn't vote for the report. I'm sorry, honorable Madringos. I'm suspecting you will forgive me. In that way.
Why you focus? Why you forget us? No, Chairperson, please. Yes,
Who's us?
Mama.
Ungakhohlwa abantu sigqoke red kanje ukhohlwe yithini? Hayi
Nami
wena.
ngigqoke red.
Now ugqoke red. Hayi.
I'm so ngixolisile honorable Madringos ulamkele uxolo lami ngicela ulamkele nawe uxolo lami.
Angifuni ukulamkela.
Hayi ke mama kuzohlala kunjalo ke singaxolelani mina nawe.
Nami ngigqoke red.
Abavazi nami ngigqoke red.
Kazoke we are red.
Nami ngigqoke red.
Ke ngoku singaxolelani sigqoke red
sinjalo. Okay, fighters.
Chairperson, point of order.
The meeting is
Point of order, Chair.
Yes.
Mr. Siabe akuvele wakhuluma nje ungamphangi opportunity to speak. Uthi nami ngigqoke red. Was it allowed? You didn't give him an opportunity to speak. Please, consistency iyafuneka kule committee yethu.
My apology, Chair.
Apology accepted. Hey, I was thinking that we were no longer even talking about. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. Thank you for apologizing, Honorable Siabi, because we were talking about now something which is out of the committee about what do we aware. So I'm sorry, honorable members, let me take this opportunity saying that good luck for the debate on Thursday. The meeting stands adjourned. I thank you. Masihlukane ngosisathandana.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, honorable members.
Support ubuya futhi man uzongiprotect kuphela ngiprotectayo.
Mane, uyangilahla manje. Angikulwisi nje.
Ngeke nje sidlale bona lana.
Wena.
Sisuka kwi-province enzima kabi futhi qoqala thina neking.
Yebo mama.
Yeah.
Hayi ke sizobona ke ngoba nathi sizingamakhosazana sisuka kuma-province anamaking nakithi sizobona uma kuzawuziswa eso lapho
Funa ngabe siyahlonishwa nje kule committee.
Ecele nihloniphe mina njengenkosazana if uya utsho njalo. Hloniphe mina ubuthe uyawazi amasiko.
Nojomane ngiyamthanda ukhona nje wazalwa uyena uJomane.
Love you all.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Lalela ke.